and welcome back to another episode of the Ginger and Honey podcast. It's your girl, Nick Valentine.
And it's your girl, the Lioness. Sometime I'm Ginger.
Sometimes I'm Honey.
But depending on the day, it can go either way.
Damn.
Ooh, yes. I love that energy.
Right. Well, thank you for joining us for another episode. And this is part 2 with my son, Shane. And the first part, last episode, we got into him being gay and coming out. Why are you laughing?
That's funny.
Coming out.
Got into him being gay.
Being gay, this little gay. And him coming out and just our journey and his experiences throughout the time, which was the anniversary going on 20 years of us finding that out. And just what our relationship had been, what it's grown into today. So we'll get more into that, like where we are now and how we, taking on the hurdles of the challenges, the growth, and my acceptance and my unconditional love for my son. Yeah. So, what would you say were some of the challenges or rough periods after you came out and just our relationship during the process?
Between me and you?
Yeah.
So it was summertime. It was July in 2005. So that just my whole senior year, because I think you just really didn't want that for me. So I was already kind of sheltered, so I think you became even more strict.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really until maybe like towards the end of my senior year where you kind of like loosened up a bit. But yeah, you were more strict.
Yeah, because in my
and then that
warped mind and thinking at the time,
like you thought that it was you thought it was a phase.
Yeah,
you was like, I remember even saying like, "Were you trying to fit in?" I was like, "Fit in." Nah. Wouldn't do that. I just think it was just like really strict, and then so now the dynamic is, for the first time, I'm being like myself. So I'm like kind of finding out who I am now, because like I think a lot of gay people, especially back then, like you spend a lot of your life not being yourself.
Yeah. Not even back then.
Yeah. But it's more accepting now. It's just a little different.
Yeah.
People are coming out younger and stuff. There's more representation. So finally being myself, still learning myself as a gay person. And then not feeling like I had that support. So, that was kind of hard. Then also being like excited because now I'm about to go to college. So I'm at this point, and it's not even about college. I'm just ready to get up out this house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And be gay. Seriously.
Well,
I was like,
part of the protection was somebody had gotten your ear about ballroom.
Yes.
So we do have to address that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
So yes, I was introduced.
Which was adult.
It is. It's and even now I say that that's the thing that I dislike about ballroom. And that's what made me step away. So I did used to participate in the ballroom scene at a younger age.
Started
at 17.
Young age. Well, explain what the ballroom scene is.
So it used to be, before it was colonized, but it used to be an underground culture. And I think one thing that I liked about, like a lot of people don't really realize, but it's a street culture. And it has the same elements as hip hop. When you think about it, you got your MC, you have your music, you have your form of dance, and it's like it is its own culture in so many things, so many people, so many ideas, concepts, fashion, everything. Even my career stemmed from ballroom. So it was exciting. There was this guy. I met him I met him on Black Planet. That's how old I am. I feel like an old gay. But I met a guy named Garrett on Black Planet, and he was older, but I always give him his flowers because he was never like a predator. He never. I used to call him. We speak on the phone every day after school, and he just found it so funny that I was just like young gay boy that didn't know shit. He was like I remember it was Labor Day weekend. I was like, hey, what you doing this weekend? He was like, don't you know what this weekend is? I was like, yeah, Labor Day. He was like, no. He's like, oh, you don't know nothing. He was like, it's Black Gay Pride. And I was like, okay, so what that mean? He's like, oh my God. So he would just like kind of educate me. Mm-hmm. And I remember he was like, you can't get into no clubs. You can only probably get into a club at there used to be a club called 708. And on Wednesdays they had mini balls. And he's like, you could probably only get into the club Wednesday for a mini ball. I was like, what's a mini ball? And he told me, and I was like, he's like, it's different houses, and you got your moms and your dad, different categories. And I was like, oh, okay. So it sounded interesting, but it didn't really register.
Yeah, a lot to learn.
Yeah. But then there was another person, an older guy, and he was like trying to start his own house or whatever. So he showed me and one of my friends a tape. And that's when I was like, oh, this is lit. And he showed me a ballroom, like it was VHS. It was a VHS.
Wow.
And he showed me a ball.
Throwback.
Yep. He would show me some balls. And it's so funny because some of those first people that like I seen on those tapes, like those are my friends now. Oh, wow. So it's just funny. Yeah. I'm including Chastity, you know, who's the family friend. It's so weird how life is. But yeah, so like I got into the ballroom scene at a young age. I think that scene is interesting because everybody's on the same playing field. So you have people as old as like 50, and then you have 17-year-olds, and they're in the same world. And there are people that will try to like, you know, take you under their wing. Thank God I was with those people and will try to protect you and, you know, give you the, you know, teach you the ins and outs or whatever. But it could be kind of predatory a little bit. Yeah. And then even outside of that, you are at times a child, because there are people that have entered that scene younger than me. You're a child and you are going up against older people. So when it comes to competition, it could get cut. It could really mess you up if you're not careful. Yeah. It's a little different now that it's not so underground. Yeah. So, you know, but I can see why y'all were trying to protect me from that.
I mean, we didn't know anything about it
just
because
knew it was
underground.
Right.
We knew it was for adults.
It was. It's an adult world.
And you were young and a little green.
I was very green. Yeah. I was hyped.
It was like, no, you're gay.
Yeah. But you don't got to do it all.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That part. Exactly.
But I was just so excited.
Save something
for later.
But again, that's that excitement. You know, it's like, like, oh, there are people like, I see people that look like me. I see. Yeah. So it's like that excitement. Yeah. And but, I learned quickly.
Yeah. And I think that was part of what I was feeling too, is the age. Yeah. You know, like you're still figuring yourself out,
and I'm ready to go out.
We would have had that same level if you were straight.
Yeah. No, I get it. And
protection.
Being young.
And in hindsight, I definitely get it. And again, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about the foundation, because there were certain things that, even though I was very green and gullible and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and all those things, there were still certain things I was like, whoa, like, oh, they done put out some coke. No, like, hold up, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh no, like, oh, yeah, you know. So I wasn't just like down to drown, you know, but I was, you know, like I was just, you know, I was excited.
You heard us in your ear.
Yeah, I didn't even. So that was the thing. I used to go to balls. I used to go to clubs. I used to be sober. I didn't start. Alcohol wasn't really my thing. You know, people did give me drinks underage. I didn't get drunk for the first time until I was 18. Thank God there was somebody who was older with me that night and was like, nah, you with me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So things, smoking and stuff. I didn't start, you know, dabbling and stuff like that till later. And I'm thankful. When I left Atlanta, and I'm happy that I did when I did. Because I've seen some of my peers that I started out with are not here.
Wow.
They're in prison. I have an ex that I used to see walking the streets, literally strung barefoot, smelling, and, you know, all these things. So I see where it could have gone. I see why you guys were concerned.
Yeah.
And, you know, it could have been me, but again, and, you know, the foundation, you know, so
And I'm glad everybody, rallied around you, and we,
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah, we have, of course, other people that gay people in the family, but it's still
It's different.
It's different
Yeah.
when it's your own child.
Like that clip I showed you.
Yeah.
I know not in my family. I know homosexual. Yeah, Jennifer
Lewis calling
what's
out.
her name? Jennifer Lewis. I'm like Lawrence, Lord. Jennifer Lewis. Yeah.
Yeah, not mine, but
I get it.
Yeah.
It could be a harder life.
Yeah.
It could you experience more. Like I said, it could be a harder life. So yeah.
And again, it was a different time.
Yes.
Things are more acceptable and a whole gay pride revolution is taking place. And just more, you have more access to information now as well. And I feel like more knowledge, more protection,
it's
more
a gift
support.
and a curse.
Yeah, I'm sure.
As with everything.
With everything, right, exactly.
Things advance, some things are better, some things are not. So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm extremely blessed.
Yeah.
And fortunate, like I know grace and mercy and favor and all those things are very real because I see it all the time. There are definitely situations where it could get me. So but I understand the concern.
Yeah.
But
you are a raw baby. You are everyone's first baby.
That's
right.
So that's right.
You're ultra protective over you. So
But I was blessed. I was, I've met some demons along the road, but I was always blessed. Like even when it came to the ballroom scene, the house that I was in was kind of like a no nonsense house. Like they weren't like, just like anything, you have your reputations. There was houses that was known for scamming, or back we called it crafting. So
crafting.
It was called craft. It was called stunt queen. So a house full of stunt queen that they steal. They steal. There have been people who have backed. I'm not gonna say the house, but they backed right before a ball. They couldn't even go to their own house ball. They backed the truck into a boutique to steal their looks for the ball.
Wow.
Yep. Shout out to y'all.
That's
what I'm saying. The OGs.
That's gangster.
Yeah. Free all the stunt queens. But then, the house I was in was a pretty, good house, had good parents and stuff like that. They knew I was young. They knew I was in school. So there was a lot of like, you shouldn't be out this late. You need to be in school. Don't get distracted and things like that. So I did have a lot of people, gay parents and stuff who made sure that, like, don't come over here. Don't be over there. You don't do that. So
they looked out for you.
Thankfully, yes.
Thankfully, yeah. Thank God.
You did mention that scene was kind of pivotal to your career.
Yes.
Your career choice.
Yeah. So I went to Clark, Atlanta, and I wanted to be on the radio. That's what I wanted to do.
I remember.
Yep, I wanted to be on the radio because I've always been even now I'm like I've always been camera shy.
A little camera shy.
But like you said,
as you like to talk.
Yeah, but I like to talk. I got something to say. But that's what I wanted to do. And then I was in New York. I was even interning at a radio station. But also I like money and I like nice things. And I was like, right, this is before podcasts and things like that. And it didn't seem like radio was really paying unless you was like top dog. And that's a long road.
Yeah.
So, and it was like a transitional period when I was trying to get into radio. Again, it was before podcasts and everything. And then it also wasn't like back in the day where you could be like, go to a radio, Hot 97, be like, yo, I want to, and then work your way up.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things I was like, this ain't going to work. And I need some bread. And I remember having a conversation with a friend, and we were in our early 20s, but also approaching that age where it's like, look, we got to get serious. And they was like, I thought about being I thought about being an esthetician. And then we kind of went from there. And I was like, what's an esthetician?
Okay. So that would spark your attention.
Yes.
Okay.
Because from the ballroom scene, my favorite category always was face. And part of that, you have to have really nice skin. So I was hanging around with face people. I was hanging around with the face kids.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's that you using? I started at a young age, I started paying attention to my skin. And I started realizing the more products I tried, the more I learned this is something I like. And when I found out what an esthetician was, I was like, well, I should have been doing that. And it was just, I was like, how do I become an esthetician? And the rest is history. That was kind of my introduction into skincare. And that's when I started, that's when I really started to pay attention to my skin and found out basically that was something I was passionate about. And then when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, you know, it was always important for me to do something that I enjoyed, but that was going to make me some money.
Right.
So it was the esthetician. So I just found out what it took to be an esthetician. I realized that there wasn't really a lot of males, especially at that time, doing it. So that made me want to do it even more.
Yeah.
I looked it up, found out what you had to do. You had to get licensed, go to school. So, and I was in New York at the time. So I went on a couple school tours, ended up going to pretty much the most prestigious aesthetic school in New York, Christine Valmy. As soon as I got off the elevator and saw the school, I was like, oh yeah, this is the school I want to go to. And a lot of the top estheticians, including Joanna, who I work for, they all went to that school.
Oh, really?
So, So I went to that school, finished, got my license, and just worked my way up in the industry. Worked for some brands. I was working under the mentorship of a big celebrity esthetician, which was that was like my real breakthrough when I started doing like celebrities and making real money and having like opportunities, which led me to LA for almost 5 years and started making a name for myself. So that's one of the better things I've done in life. And that's how.
Well, let's name drop a little bit, okay? Tell them you're a master esthetician.
That's right.
And some of the clientele, celebrity clientele that you've done, and especially your most recent.
That's my biggest accomplishment.
Which was amazing opportunity.
So my biggest, I listed, my friend made me list all the people. Good. So I think I have
as you should.
Yeah, he was like, no, write down a list of all the celebrities you did. So I think it's like 25 or 27 celebrities under my belt.
Wow.
Okay.
A lot of them, well, most of them did come from the salon I was working at. That's how we would get the clients. So some of my biggest like career highlights, two of my favorites, I did Salma Hayek, which was amazing.
Oh, wow.
Julia Roberts, which was, I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Pretty woman herself.
Yep. Steve Martin, Jeff Goldblum, MC Light. Those, I did like a lot of people like that. Lena Waithe, Cynthia Erivo, and those. Cynthia Erivo I did once. Lena Waithe was actually my client, who I kind of got introduced to from my ex. And but my biggest accomplishment was just in May, I did Shaboozy for the Met Gala.
Woo!
So I was really happy to do that because
Shaboozy.
No, I was hyped.
You should have been. Really I was hyped for you.
I was like, I was so happy because I left the company I was working for. I was there for almost 7 years, and it was just time. You know, when it's time to leave, it's time to leave, and it was definitely time to leave. And that was just all me. You know, it was one of my former clients. Shout out to Anastasia, excuse me. Shout out to Anastasia. She's a big time stylist. We have a great rapport. She was seeing me for years. And one day I just got a text like, "Are you still doing facials? I need you to do Shaboozy for the Met Gala." And I was like,
am I?
Yeah, but mind you, at first I was like kicking myself like, God, like, what am I going to do? And shout out to Dustin. Dustin was like, "You say yes and you figure it out." And that's what happened.
Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But mind you, I think just because it was the
like
time.
That, you don't let pass.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it was because it was that, middle period between me leaving Joanna Vargas and then me being on my own. So not even really thinking, because I've had the same opportunity kind of happen with other people when they were like, "Oh, do you do like house calls?" And I didn't have the equipment, but I was like, "Yeah," and I'll figure it out. And I went and got what I needed.
Yeah.
So when I was like, I did this before, I could do it again.
Exactly.
So shout out to Tina Pearson, your best friend, celebrity hairstylist. I called her, seeing if she knew where to get some equipment from. And she was like, I got that. Come get it.
Yeah.
So that helped.
Thank you,
That took a load off.
Tina
So it just all lined. That that one experience, that one opportunity just lined up for me.
Good.
And
And
when I
that's
was
what you know is yours. And
Yup.
God, like we say, even during this process with us for the podcast, when God is in it,
Yup.
He's gonna make it happen.
Yup.
You
That's
know,
right.
we
It
just
looked
have to
good.
stop doubting ourselves
Yup.
and
Yeah.
have faith in what we do.
Yup.
Yeah.
And his skin
Take
looked
action
good.
and they show
Yeah.
up on the road.
He was
That's
happy.
That's
He
right.
loved it. And then of course my girl did her thing on the stylist, so he got so much
Yeah.
attention on the red carpet. So it was just really big.
Yeah,
And I was
that's
really happy.
huge.
Yup.
And I'm sure some other major opportunities will come
Oh,
your
yeah, for
way
sure,
from
for sure.
that.
This is
Yeah.
only beginning. So,
Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
so no regrets. Doing my own thing.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
So what do you love
Book
most?
Your boy.
Book your boy, right. Yeah.
Look,
Give him
Spin
your
by
handle.
Shane.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you
Spin
go.
by Shane on Instagram. Look me up. You know, Leslie Jones, another big client
Oh,
of mine.
yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Personal client of mine that I got through my friend Brian, who was styling her. So it's been a journey, and I'm
Yeah.
definitely. You couldn't have told me I was gonna be touching Julia Roberts' face. One day. So just all these people,
Yeah.
you just never, you know.
Yeah.
Even MC Light. So and the funny thing about MC Light, when I did her, she was still. It wasn't the COVID time, but you know, some people still wear masks.
Yeah.
So they said that was like, yeah, so a Grammy Award winning artists are nominated. And I went to go pick her up and she had her mask on. And I was like, well, who is she? So I was like, well, she might be, she was like JJ Fab or something like that. Like, she must be from like back in the day. And then, but she knows because she does a lot of voiceover.
Yeah.
So you
So
recognize
that
the
voice, I bought her
voice.
and I was
She
like,
definitely
say
has
word.
a one of
And
a
I came back in the
kind.
room and I was like,
He was like, as a right, L-Y-T-E.
Right. I am the light.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's more
yeah.
your era. We went to ours.
Favorite.
Look, all of it. I was like,
Yeah.
I just want to say, you know, my parents love you. She was cool. They.
You said you actually said that?
At some point, I saw her a couple
okay.
times. So
Yeah.
at some point, you know, we kind of, you know, had a slight rapport. And
Yeah.
stuff. You know, she's from Flatbush. I was like, yeah, I'm from the opposite side of the two. So yeah, she was cool. All the celebrities, honestly.
That's
I haven't
good.
had any. Salma Hayek was my favorite. She was hilarious. She told me my ex-boyfriend cheated on me. She did.
Why? Because she knew him personally?
Well,
or she was just like.
So I won't go into detail, but she asked me a question. Basically, she asked me if I was gay.
Okay.
And I was,
Just flat out.
But I loved it. If she was just so blunt, but it was just more so. I think for her comfortability.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, good.
Oh, okay.
So when I'm doing her facial, so she's just like, you know, she starts warming up to me, you know, once I touch her and stuff. She's
Getting
like,
comfortable.
so do you have a boyfriend? And I'm like, no, you know, I had one, but you know, it didn't work out. She's like, oh, did he cheat on you? And I was like, no. And I was like, well, there was this one time, you know, he didn't, you know, I was sitting on his couch and he popped in the house at 8 a.m. She's like, oh, baby.
Absolutely.
She said, you called him? And I was like, bitch, I did catch him, didn't I? And then when we got back together, I was like, Salma Hayek told me you cheated on me. So,
if she said it,
this again?
you're right. If she said it is real.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Salma Hayek told me.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, so, but no, it's been a blessing for real. One of the best decisions I ever made to, you know, get in the field.
Yeah.
And be an esthetician, made something of myself.
Right. And now your goal is to
do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always my, as soon as I got into it, I knew that I wanted that New York experience. And I knew I wanted that LA experience. Like, that's just something I knew. I said, I wanted to get my experience in New York, get my experience in LA, because I feel like in certain industries, that's the best experience you can have.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I wanted to bring it to, you know, Atlanta's New York. I'm from New York and Atlanta's my roots. And I feel like Atlanta's where it all basically started.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there was, even now, you know, no disrespect, but there's nobody out here doing what I'm doing or can do. So I always wanted to bring that experience here.
That's right.
That's right. Better say it.
So,
that's right.
You know, I'm here now, you know, getting the ball rolling.
Here to finish up the trifecta.
Mm-hmm,
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Might be funny, oddly enough, 20 years later.
Yeah.
Yep.
Most exactly.
About 20 years later. So.
Yeah, and now I don't have to call you for skincare advice. I can finally, after all this time, I still have not got a facial. Well, when you were in school.
Yeah, you did. You did get
when you
you
in
got
school.
Oh,
But like,
okay. You got to get
since
the
you become the
real master
I'm sure it's a
esthetician.
different experience now. I can't
It's
wait.
an amazing experience.
My muse.
Yes. I can't wait until you experience those soft hands and
magic
fingers
hands.
and magic fingers.
Yeah.
Yes, he does an amazing job. So I can't wait until you spread your wings and do your thing. Yeah, because you have the clientele, you know plenty of people, and I know people are just waiting.
Yep, I'm excited. So soon come.
Yeah.
Yes. Sooner rather than later.
Yeah, no, I'm here now. So
okay, awesome.
Look, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
I've been trying to get my baby back here. If y'all can't tell.
You moving back? You always say that.
Yes.
So it looks like it's finally
I have
happening.
all my babies back here.
Getting on your nerves.
But loving you too. Through all the annoyance. It's just what it is. Yep. But no, love you and so proud of, like I said, everything you've done. You've had a tremendous journey. Lot of ups and downs, but you've been resilient. No, I never thought that.
Yeah,
Not from none of my kids.
Yeah.
Y'all come from good stock, you know. And granted, the road there isn't always a straight road. It's always not the road we may want children to take, you know, just like my parents in the road I took, you know, so it's not how you get there, but is that you do get there. Yeah. Sure. And that you find your path. You find your own path and make your way. And I'm so glad you finally found what you're passionate about and soul fit you. Like once you said this is what you were doing, it's like
I was in there.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Can't even touch this man's face. It's like the Matrix.
Okay.
Kung Fu.
I've been telling people, baby, my skincare regimen is a bill. It is.
Oh, yeah.
My refill be. When people ask me for like product recommendations, I'm like, you sure?
No, yeah.
Because I'm gonna give it to you.
This toner gonna set you back.
Yeah, because it's not cheap.
No,
at all. But the quality benefits of that routine regimen is can't do without it. It makes a huge difference. Right, for sure. And I just remember too your joke saying how you hear so many women say they just wash their face with water. It's like that is not cleaning, cleansing your face. It's not washed.
Maybe the horror stories. How you do what? Baby, lay down. Let me
fix you. Please, and thank you. Yes, so we appreciate all the tips.
For sure. It's really easy.
And the information.
You just gotta get.
It's just knowing what to do, you know, and trying different products because it's not a one thing fits all.
Skincare is not cookie cutter. I tell people that all the time. So these influencers and stuff like that, what works for one person may not work well for you. And you have to find out what benefits you're looking for. Like what's your skincare concerns, and then what are your benefits that you're looking for? What are your skincare goals? And then you go from there. So there's everything. There are certain things that everybody should be doing, but then the frequency, the amount of times you do it, or the ingredients, like it varies for everybody. Okay. You could be a set of twins and might have to have two separate regimens.
Okay. Well, tell the people the certain things they should be doing.
Well, everybody should be exfoliating.
Everybody. So this is for males too. I don't want them to think this is
males.
Men. Y'all have to have skincare too.
Do you have skin? But no. So everybody should be washing their face. You need to be washing your face twice a day. You need to be exfoliating weekly. Now that frequency will vary because it depends on your climate, the time of year, depending on where you live, and also your skin type. But basically, keeping your skin clean, exfoliating, keeping your skin hydrated and moisturized. That's something that everybody should be doing. And then, toning and everything like that, and serums.
You add that.
Yeah, but that's all part of kind of like the hydration and the moisturize. But keep your skin moisturized, keep your skin clean, and keep that dead skin off your face.
I have a girlfriend who still uses Noxzema.
How?
I don't know.
No, we're not gonna knock Noxzema because
that's the old school. Listen, Noxzema and oil of Olay.
Yeah, I used to back in the day. I was using back in college, back in Clark. I was using black soap. Me and my friends would literally put Noxzema. Now I don't recommend you do this, but we would use black soap and then have Noxzema on our face like it was a mask before the club. You used to be okay. Hey, you got makeup on? I'm like, nope. And don't.
It's just that good skin that I take care of. Yeah. Well, good. The people needed to know. Good. Well, thank you. But in closing, I just want to ask you, what would you say is something or things that you would want parents to know when being confronted or dealing with finding out about a child who is gay?
Love them. Just love them. Don't kick your child out. Don't shun them. Even if you don't, just try to understand. Just try to understand. And you don't have to agree. You don't have to like it, but just love your kids. Like, if you are not going to be able to love your kids no matter what, and it doesn't have to be with sexuality, anything. If you are going to have a problem loving your child because they're doing something you don't want them to do, or they come out in a certain way that you don't plan, don't have kids. Just whatever. If you find out your child wants to transition, your child is gay, non-binary, whatever, just love your child. Just love your child. Just be there for your child. And still parent, always parent, and let them know, that you're there for them and you love them. And then, I guess you can warn them about certain things, but come from a place of educated, point of view.
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love. And then educate yourself, whatever it is, right? Like, if you love somebody and then, if you find out, a loved one may be suffering from some sort of illness you never heard of, and you want to be there for them, you would try to educate yourself on this illness, and not to compare it to an illness, but whatever you don't understand,
that you don't understand,
and this is going on with somebody that you love, just educate yourself and just love them. Just love them. Just love them. I've seen what it's like for people's parents not to love them, for people's parents to put them out, and now they're in the wrong hands.
Yeah.
And by the time you come around, it's too late.
It's too late.
You know what I'm saying? So just love your kids no matter what. That's it.
Thank you. Which is unfortunate.
Do you have any special last minute advice for parents?
Oh, yeah. And I would agree with what he said, to love your child. And this experience has definitely taught me the true definition of unconditional love.
Understanding too. Because it goes both ways. I have to understand where you're coming from.
Right.
And, maybe your concerns, and,
Right. And I'm glad and thankful for you giving me the grace. Like I said, I had to realize some things that I was being selfish and putting my own emotions before yours. So I'm glad you gave me that grace.
Absolutely.
And I was able to be there to support you through it all. And I love you so much.
Love you too. Wouldn't trade you for the world.
Wouldn't trade you for the world, son. Love you. So proud of you. And again, thank you for joining us.
Yes, I would love it. Of course.
And this has been awesome. It was a great
surprise.
Yes, right on time.
Represent for the game.
Right on time. But yes, love your children. Love your children, parents, unconditionally.
And then, just for me being an auntie.
Yeah, thank you. Seriously, for always,
she's the voice of reason.
No, seriously, even from
I know I'm your fave. It's okay. I know.
I got auntie.
I know.
I love all y'all.
Yeah, but if you have a family member that is experiencing it, it's good. The same unconditional love and being there for each other is the bottom line, top and bottom line.
Love is the strongest, most powerful emotion.
Yeah,
Conquer any and everything.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thank you
Yes.
for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you for having my gay ass.
He's so crazy.
Pause.
Pause.
And on that note,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us on another episode of the Ginger and Honey podcast.
Mhm.
And this is our final episode of the season.
Oh, the finale.
The
going
finale.
on.
Yeah, so we're gonna have some more things cooking up for you during this.
Absolutely.
Season 2. That's
Season
so proud of you
2.
Get ready.
It's
ready.
loading. It's loading.
Yes.
Thank you. So please continue to watch us, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know that when we're coming to you with a new episode,
You don't miss it.
Yeah, that you stay locked in.
Mhm.
Stay locked
All right.
in. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.